Now I want to move on to something else that's been transpiring in the United States in various big cities, because I just don't understand why anyone would feel the need to do this. I don't understand the lack of humanity. It has to do with posters that you may have come across featuring some of the hostages who were kidnapped by Hamas terrorists on October 7th. So let's give you the details on that. So on college campuses and cities around the world, people keep getting caught basically ripping these posters down. And again, they feature information about the civilians who were captured by and are now used as hostages by Hamas. In the weeks since the war in the Middle East, the kidnapped posters created by an Israeli street artist have been spread in public spaces across the US, Europe, and beyond. And they're available to anyone online. So if you want to help share information or spread information about these hostages, you can easily print them out and post them in your own neighborhood. But apparently that upsets some people. Apparently sharing information about innocent civilians who were kidnapped by terrorists upsets some people. And so they get caught tearing the posters down. And I find that despicable. Here are just two examples of what the posters look like. And I think these examples are really important because in one of them, you see literally a 9-month-old baby. And then in the second one, you see a 2-year-old girl, an Israeli German girl who was also kidnapped by Hamas. Imagine seeing that and feeling the need to tear it down. So the flyers have angered some. I want to say some, it's really important not to just conflate these despicable people with individuals who want peace, who have been calling for a ceasefire, who find what Hamas did horrible, objectionable, and disgusting, okay? They're not all the same, and it's really important to keep that in mind because I see this effort by Israel's right-wing government to conflate the two. I see some in America trying to conflate the two. Do not conflate the two. With that said, the flyers have angered some pro-Palestinian activists, many of whom have been caught either ripping them down or covering them up. I want to show you a few examples.
Are you pro-Hunter?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, you will be all over the news.
Don't worry about it.
All over the news.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Why are you tearing them down? Innocent people were kidnapped.
300 people killed the hospital bus. I was sent to every single firm. See your name. Look what they're doing. They're doing over these hostage signs. The children are dying in Israel. Look what they're doing.
Why is she taking the pictures off? Does she work for management office?
No.
Do you know this person?
Is she doing it all? Yeah.
That is so sad.
They think ripping these posters down is a form of protest. How are you winning anyone over? And how are you making anything better by ripping down posters of innocent people who were taken hostage by Hamas? I just don't understand people, man. Removing the posters has quickly emerged as its own form of protest, a release valve, and also a provocation by those anguished by the Israeli government's treatment of Palestinians in the years before October 7th, and since the bombing of Gaza began. Obviously, I have a huge problem with the Israeli government's treatment of Palestinians. We've covered that endlessly on this show. I also have a huge problem with ripping these posters down because your enemy isn't literal 9-month-old babies who were taken hostage by Hamas. Some participants don't seem to have thought that their actions, they haven't really thought through their actions much at all. Let's just put it that way. I'll give you an example. So a woman in Brooklyn who spoke on the condition of anonymity because she said her family would be upset by the publicity. Maybe you should reconsider your actions then, okay? Said she had torn down kidnapped posters after a friend in a group chat for activists encouraged her. The posters, she said, the friend told her, amounted to anti-Islamic war propaganda. So I said, cool beans, let's take them down. Yeah, but do you guys not understand that you are helping to discredit well-meaning, good faith individuals who want peace, who want a ceasefire, who do not want to justify what Hamas did, but also do not want to justify the Israeli government's response and reaction to that terrorist attack. Do you not understand that? But is it all about me? Because that's what I noticed time and time again. Oh, I'm feeling something, my emotions are overwhelming, so I'm gonna carry out something without thinking about, first of all, how awful and immoral it is, but also how, tactically speaking, how stupid it is. Just the selfishness and the immorality of it. And I'm sorry, I know I keep using immoral over and over again, but I mean, how else are you gonna respond to this garbage? Others insist that they're just trying to ease the tension, that the posters are actually leading to more tension between, Muslims and Jewish people in these communities. In one instance, a man says, you should be ashamed of yourself as he watches two young people at the University of Southern California, USC, rip the posters down, put them in the trash. One of the young people responds as follows: "They're making the conflict worse. I'm not a fan of Hamas." No, you're making the conflict worse here in the United States. Don't rip down the posters. It's stupid. It's so stupid, and that's honestly a weak ass excuse. A dentist in Florida, Dr. Ahmed Al-Kusa, was actually fired from his practice last week after cameras captured him and another man taking down the flyers in Miami. But Al-Kusa's lawyer explained to local news that his client simply wanted to ensure that there's no conflict here in Florida. And when he saw those posters, he was just concerned that they may lead to an escalation in conflict. There's a sizable Jewish population in Florida. I would guess that if they see you tearing down those posters of hostages, that would actually lead to increased tension and conflict. So again, what a weak ass excuse. And understandably, that is not how their actions are perceived. Here is Nitzan Mintz, one of the artists behind the posters, on Fox News, of course, explaining how she feels when she sees these posters taken down.
Look at this poster, for example. This is Kfir and he's 9-month-old. When a person is ripping apart this baby's face, he thinks that he's tearing down the entire Jewish or Israeli entity. He does not realize that this baby is a real human being. It's not fake. This baby is right now probably in a very dark room held by Hamas with guns pointed to who knows. I mean, I can't even describe how I feel about this baby being held, kidnapped by Hamas.
That baby's life matters. The lives of the thousands of children in Gaza who have died, their lives matter. Two things can be true. You can condemn the brutality toward Israeli civilians while also condemning the brutality toward Palestinian civilians. That is what a moral human being does. They look at these two instances and they find both utterly disgusting. Anyone who picks a side and minimizes the lives on the other, I mean, I wish I believed in religion, because if I did, I could say something like, their judgment day is coming. But I'm an atheist and I don't believe in that stuff. I just hope that they can take a moment to self-reflect and consider how they would feel if members of their own families were killed either by the IDF or by members of Hamas.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below, because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.